Hello guys, you are highly welcome to the smartphone graphic design course. Okay, so we're going to continue our discussion about the elements of graphic design, and I'm going to tell you congratulations because this is the last element we are going to be talking about. All right, so now what is this element of graphic design that we're going to be talking about? It is typography. Now, what is typography? It is very simple. It is an act of what? Working with text. It's an act of what? Working with text or alphabet. Okay, so this in a very simple terms. Okay, in a graphic design, typography can also be called fonts, typeface, okay, or types, okay, depending on you. Okay, so whichever one that you want to call it. But for instance, if you hear types, if you hear the word types, fonts, typeface, so I want you to understand that they are actually talking about typography. Okay, all right guys, so there are 4 types of fonts. There are 4 major types of fonts, so which I'm going to be teaching you and I'm going to be explaining them explicitly. All right, so what are the types of fonts? So the first one is serif font, the second one sans serif, the third one display font, and for the last one is slab serif. So these are the 4 main types of fonts. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining each of these fonts. Okay, now so the first one is serif fonts. Okay, now these are the kind of fonts which comes with extra width, extra serif. Okay, so don't worry, I'm going to be showing you examples. All right, now the second type of fonts is the sans serif. Just like the name applies, sans in French word, it means no. Okay, no serif, no extra width. Okay, so, all right, now so let's see some example. But then I want you to understand that the sans serif fonts are the kind of fonts that you have on your phone that you are seeing on this slide currently. Okay, but first I'm going to show you. Now if you observe closely on this image that we have here, now the T on the right, sorry, on the left is different from the T on the right. Why? Because the T on the right has an extra width and the T on the left does not have it. So now I want you to tell me which one is sans serif. Just guess. And which one is serif? Good. Now the one that is sans serif is the one on the left because it has no serif, no serif, no extra width, no extra width. Okay, no extra width. Okay, and the one on the right has an extra width. Okay, it has an extra width, so which made it to be a serif font. All right, so let's proceed. Now the third kind of font is the display font. Okay, so this kind of font has to do with a display kind of font. It has to do with decorative fonts such as script, calligraphic font, handwriting, etc. Okay, now don't worry, I'm going to be showing you some examples. Okay, now for the slab serif, okay, for the slab serif, it's also called square serif fonts, square serif fonts, or Egyptian. Now this type face or this type of fonts is a type of serif fonts. Now this font is extracted from serif fonts. You know, serif fonts has extra width. This is it. Serif fonts has extra width. So let's see serif fonts now. Serif fonts has what? Extra width. It has extra width. But the difference between the slab serif and the serif fonts, I'm going to show you the difference. Now this is a slab serif font. If you watch closely, if this is a serif font, it's gonna be something just like this. Sorry, the T is gonna be something like this. I'm trying to, okay, it will have an extra width, okay. But if this is a slab serif, okay, you're gonna have something like this. Don't worry, you're gonna be seeing some example, but this is what, or this is how a slab serif look like. This is what a slab serif look like. It has that kind of thick extra width, that's flat. It has to do with something flat, okay. It's, if you note, if you observe closely, this one here, okay, the serif font is curved, okay, it's not flat totally, okay. It has this curve shape down here, okay. So it's not straight and like this, okay. So this is how the slab serif look like, but the serif font is curved this way. So you can see the difference. Slab serif, it has this square or this rectangle look. All right, so that's just the difference between the slab serif font and the serif font, okay. So and for the display font, I'm going to show you a design that comes with a display font. Now this particular design that we have here comes with a display kind of font, okay. This is a script font. This is a script font. If you observe closely, this is a script font, okay. A handwriting is very tiny, are those tiny fonts, all right, are those tiny fonts. So this is a script font. This is a script font, okay. So this is an example of a display font, all right. So let's continue now. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is tips on how to choose fonts for a design. I usually get this question from my students that they find it difficult to choose fonts for their design, and it is very simple. So I'm going to be teaching you here and right now. Now the first thing you should consider when choosing a particular font for a design is the audience, okay. Every design has its own or has our own audience, okay. So let's just say it that way. Every design has our own audience, okay. It is very vital that you know your audience, okay, the audience you are designed for. If it is a youth, or if the design is for children, young adults, old adults, things like that. So these are things you should know, because if a design is for children, okay, if a particular design is for children, definitely the kind of fonts you are going to use are decorative fonts, are display fonts, okay, and not serious fonts like sans serif or slab serif. No, the kind of fonts you are going to use are decorated fonts, okay. I'm going to show you an example now. Don't worry, so let's continue. I'm going to show you an example as we continue. Now the second is brainstorm. You have to brainstorm, you have to make research, because any design that you want to do, somebody elsewhere have done it before, okay. Make research and observe the kind of fonts the the designer used. Okay, so the third one is the purpose for the design. So you need to know if the font you are about to use suits the project. So let's see examples. Now if you look at the design on my right hand side, okay, the font, especially that's okay, the font on the headline, okay, my own focus is the headline that I'm focusing on now. If you watch closely, the kind of font used is a decorative kind of font. Okay, it is not a sans serif, it's not a slab serif, it's not a serif font, but a display font. Okay, and if you watch the fonts used for this particular design on my left, what kind of font are you going to call it? Is it a sans serif font or a display font? Now it is in a form of sans serif and in a form of display font, in the sense that it is not too serious and it is not too playful. If you observe the Y, the S, the Y used here, and the S, okay, so and the R as well, you observe that they are actually not a too serious font and not a playful font as well. So these are the things you should observe in your design or in your research. Okay, so let's proceed. Now I'm going to be giving you 4 tips on how to pair fonts, okay, because pairing of fonts is very, very important in your design. Now how do you pair fonts? Now the very first one is you can pair fonts using a bold serif and a light serif. Okay, a bold serif and a light serif, or you can use serif fonts and sans serif fonts, or you can interchange it. Okay, sans serif fonts and serif fonts, and you can also use a bold sans serif font and a light serif font. Okay, so let's go back to observe something. If you look very well closely, this is a bold sans serif font and this is a slab serif font that is light. This is slab serif font that is light. Okay, this is slab serif font that is light. So these are things that you can just mix. Okay, I just gave you 4 tips. So these are the things that you can use. Okay, you can, this is not a principle. Okay, so this is not a rule. Okay, so you can break them, so you are free. All right, you're free to break them. Okay, now psychology of types. Now I'm not going to be explaining this in this video, but regarding this, I've already created a short image or a short document that has explained this explicitly. So you can just click on the link in the description of this video, okay, or you can click the link that is attached to this video and then you can access it. Okay, and then you can access the video. All right, so that's not all. Okay, so you have your first assignment. Okay, your first assignment is to observe or to submit 5 designs for my Instagram page, and you tell me the fonts that were used. Okay, the fonts that were used. Okay, so that is all regarding the elements of graphic design, and then I hope you've gone through it. Okay, so kindly go through the elements of graphic design again, ask your question in the support group, and I will answer them immediately. Okay, thank you very much, and see you in the next video where I'm going to be teaching you the principles of graphic design. Thank you.